And now, we've come to the portion of our show where we have to ask, what just happened? We can't believe it either, but let's take a look back at the insanity that was this week and look ahead to what will make us facepalm next week. This is What Just Happened on the Dean Obeidallah Show. Take it away, Dean.
And welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live Friday, January 11th, and right now it's What Just Happened. We have two great guests who actually are both Muslim, so this is the Muslim Power Hour.
Muslim with a TH.
It's the Muslim Power Hour. We're going to call it the Shakira Law Hour here. Right here, got Wali Collins, comedian, been on before, great guy, been on Comedy Central, Letterman. And in studio, our friend, never in studio, Nayyera, host of everything, whatever she does. She's going to be filling in for me on Wednesday. She does a lot of stuff on the weekend. You see her on MSNBC all the time. Nayyera, it's great to see you in person. Usually
it's so great to be back in person. Yeah.
She's very cool, by the way.
She's very nice.
We met downstairs in the lobby. I'm like, wow, this chick's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Really cool.
At first, she seems cool.
Well, that I knew it. I knew it.
She's like, why?
And then you know what she does?
What?
She tries to marry you off to somebody that you've been like avoiding getting married for
and
a
you're
long
speaking
time.
in third person too. That's very
I do
interesting.
that. I do that.
And Wally's been married for years, though. You can't
I'm like, this is the
marry
Dean Obeidallah Show. Dean is on break on his honeymoon.
That's what she loves to do. Okay, let's talk about a few things. We got a lot of issues to cover. First of all, Donald Trump Jr.
Oh God, here we go.
Shared a video on social media. I can't play it because you have to see it, folks. But what it did was a doctored video someone made of someone about to hit a golf ball, and they had the word CNN over their face, and a golf cart comes over and hits the person. So it's a real video of someone getting hit by a golf cart. But it was doctored to make it look like it was CNN, and then Trump's voice is in there, and they were saying it was Jim Acosta, and Donald Trump Jr. shared it. Is it wrong to root for him to go to jail at this point? Like, is there anything wrong with him? 'Cause I don't like to root for people to be indicted and go to prison, but he is horrible. I mean,
you got to understand, like, you know, how he was raised. You know, he doesn't know any better, and so, you know, he's basically following in the footsteps of Daddy. So, you know,
and Daddy is following the footsteps of his racist daddy. So it's not okay.
Yeah. So it's he gets it honest, as you say. You know.
But
so.
I mean, do you remember when the Obama kids sent out a video of beating up Fox News reporters? I mean, what child of any president's ever done this?
But do you remember when the big crisis was like one of the Bush daughters went out and partied too hard, like right? Like that was the standard of crisis back then. This guy stands there with having after it killed elephants and posing with photos. Like he's just universally a jerk.
The bar is set. I don't know if it's set high or low. I don't know what metaphors, but they're getting away with so much. And where does that bar stop? You know what I mean? Where does it say, okay, enough? Let's
I don't think it's bad to root for bad people, bad things to happen to bad people. And I really do think that Don Jr. is just a bad person. He's a bit of a failed human being.
And to remind people, during the campaign, he sent out a picture of Skittles, this meme about Syrian refugees going, would you eat these Skittles if I told you two of them would kill you? And that was a white nationalist meme he was doing.
Today? Was it today or maybe last night? He also did the one about how the zoo, immigrants are like animals in a zoo. You keep the fence in.
No, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. He is just, these are his worst hits.
You know what? Karma's going to, you know, I believe in humanity. I really, really do. And I really think that, you know, it's going to come around, and just you got to chill. I know it's painful. I know it's cringe. But it's going to come around.
But we've never seen it. Go ahead.
So maybe not root for him, but also I'm not going to jump in front of him if a bus is coming.
Right. If a bus, something bad was going to happen and you saw it, you would not yell,
watch out.
Right, watch out. You'd be like,
let me.
You get your camera, you get your phone
You're
out
like,
and go,
stay right there. You look great there.
I got to videotape this, and boom. No, we've never seen a child of a president be this partisan and beyond partisan, like to actually sharing videos joyfully of Jim Acosta, at least in this video that's doctored, being hurt, like physically hurt badly.
Well, his father said, beat him up and I'll pay the lawyer fee. So, you know, so how can you tell him?
The challenge is that their audience that they speak to actually wants to do these things.
Yeah.
Like they take him literally, not just figuratively. So he's inciting violence here.
Yeah. I mean, the presidency now is such a farce and it's so embarrassing right now, and and people take him so seriously with the things that he says, and they take him on face value. Like, are you guys really serious about this? You know what I mean? So there are no rules anymore. It seems like there's no rules anymore. So when's it going to end? When's it going to stop? That's the question I think we're all asking. What has to happen for it to say, all right, enough is enough.
I don't know what that moment is other than the election in 2020. And if, God forbid, he wins re-election, who knows what happens? So he's got to lose and lose badly in 2020.
I think people have to play his game.
Really? You think so?
I think so.
Because other people say don't play his game.
But it's not working.
But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I love saying her name.
Yeah,
like that.
I was very impressed with that. I saw your tongue
You're not
rolling
Spanish.
in your...
You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I'm omni-ethnic, right?
I have to go HR.
Between the nose and the
I'm
skin
uncomfortable
tone,
in
I
all
feel
this.
like I can just kind of pass.
But I enjoyed that. Thank you so much for that.
So
tongue
I think
rolling.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is playing his game, but from the left and in a more humane way, right? She's doing phenomenal Twitter clapbacks, like dominating
Against
all
Joe
these...
Lieberman today.
Yeah.
Like all these old dudes trying to step to her. I'm like, you don't know how this is going to go down. And she's actually speaking from a policy perspective that many economists have agreed with. That is, we're actually generally center left. It's not as radical. So there's substance to her, but there's style and savvy. The other side doesn't have that. So I feel like that's the game that's worth playing, is appealing to people's humanity and doing it in the format and in the mediums they want to hear from you, and to be direct about it.
Well, that's how people communicate now. She understands technology, is the way that people communicate. And so these old dudes just don't understand. They still think calling
Trump
on a
understands
landline.
it. Like, he knows what Twitter does for him. He doesn't care that everybody freaks out about it.
Yeah, but he's not using it the right way. He's using it, everything that pops into his brain, he'll just put it out there. I like candy.
He needs new material. It's the same thing.
Rhetoric.
I got to play a clip. It's like a minute long. Seth Meyers last night playing a clip of Trump speaking. This is not doctored. This is Trump speaking about a wall and a wheel. This is off the charts. Here's clip number 2.
And when Trump finally got to Texas this afternoon, he held a roundtable where he made a new argument for the wall. Trump said, walls can't be bad because cars have wheels.
They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. And I looked at every single car out there, even the really expensive ones that the Secret Service uses, and believe me, they are expensive. I said, do they all have wheels? Yes. Oh, I thought it was medieval. The wheel is older than the wall. You know that? And there are some things that work. You know what? A wheel works and a wall works.
I'm sorry, you had to look at all the cars to confirm they had wheels? Man, I take it back. You are a real
professional in technology.
But seriously, what is wrong with your brain? Did someone replace your Diet Coke with NyQuil? I mean, honestly, how long until he just starts reciting nursery rhymes? The buses, they all have wheels, folks. And the wheels on these buses, they go round and round. Round and round, round and round. Oh!
It doesn't make sense. The wheel is older than the wall. Like, he's watching the Flintstones like it's a documentary. Like, what is going on?
You know what else worked really well? Trebuchets. We should bring those back.
What?
You know trebuchet?
No, what is that?
Oh, trebuchet is the medieval catapult.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's what they're called?
Trebuchet.
I was calling them catapults.
But catapult and the trebuchet is the one that comes with the tower to it.
She has a lot of different languages going on here and accents. Like a one-person show when she's in studio.
I thought that was a kind of suit.
But listen,
I'm putting on my trebuchet.
Yeah, right. That's
today.
a nice trebuchet.
But who would fall for this garbage? Like, does anyone in his base go like,
okay,
oh,
so
that
it
makes
actually
sense?
kind of made sense to me. How horrible is that? This is like I'm spending
the
too
wall
much time around
is on
him.
the wheel.
That makes sense to you?
In a really weird way. I'm like, okay, you're trying to make this very, very basic. They're like, some things work universally. Right. Like, wheels have worked for thousands of years, so walls have worked. There's the Great Wall of China. That worked. Like, thank you for giving me this weird look, because I felt really gross that it made sense to me in the moment.
I understand how that makes sense, but it's not, it's not relevant.
The Earth is flat, because I can walk from one end to the other, therefore it's flat.
It's not relevant, though.
Right.
The wheel, sure, a lot of things work. You know, like breathing works. We've been breathing forever.
Well,
medieval.
Breathing's older than the wheel.
Who's ever called a wheel medieval? Does he mean the wheel that they would torch people on? Is that the wheel? That they would tie them up?
The Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune. Vanna White's medieval. Oh my God, Jamie Lannister. Oh my God. He is the Mad King of not the South, the North. He's just the Mad King. All right, when we take a break, I want to come back.
Mad King Eris.
He is
nerd alert
about the federal workers who are out of work now. 800,000 today didn't get paychecks. Many of them, not all of them, but a big chunk of them. Next week, the rest of them. What will it take to get Americans actually care more about this? Like, what will touch them? and go like, this is really fundamentally wrong right now. And Trump is just ruining our lives personally, not just in this kind of academic way. So let's take a break, come back with more of Wali Collins and Nayyera Hawk right here on the Dean Obeidallah Show.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
I think Trump clips that they play on the media should come with a health warning saying that if you watch this, you'll get dumber. Never has somebody said so much stupid in so little time as Donald Trump does.
SiriusXM Progress.
Your entire week's exhausting news broken down in one hilarious hour. What Just Happened is now live with Dean Obeidallah.
Democrats, welcome back. Dean Obeidallah Show, live right here. What Just Happened, January 11th. We'll take some calls as well. We're live with our friend Nayyera Hawk in studio and Wali Collins.
What's up?
Really funny. What's up? Both Muslims. There are 3 Muslims in here. In the old days, this would have raised a terror alert.
Easy.
3 Muslims in the same room. We would have been in orange right now. But remember when Trump was obsessed with Muslims? Like I don't need the attention. I am needy. But he pivoted from us. Like he was all about the Muslim. I want to ban them. I think it was actually when he won, he went to Saudi and stuff and goes, I need these people more than I need to demonize them. I need the Saudis to go against Iran.
But I don't think he understands that there are actually Latino Muslims out there too.
I don't think he cares, but you're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
all kinds of Muslims.
Right, so in his mind, he's like, oh, let me be nice to Muslims. They're Arab and they have lots of oil and money.
Yeah, that's all he knows.
That's all he knows.
All right, so let's talk about the shutdown. Both of you have personal connections to people who are impacted directly. And I think my question really is, how do you get people to start caring? Now, progressives, we're empathetic, compassionate people. We do care about people we don't know or don't meet. But I'm talking about a lot of people in the middle of America who are not affected by it, and they go, why should I care? But I want to share. So, Nayyera, you were saying you have some friend, a couple that work.
Yeah, so D.C. is a very strange town right now. Like, there's no rush hour commuter traffic. I was able to get to work in 15 minutes. And I was like, wait, where is everybody? And I'm like, well, they're furloughed. The great thing, there's lots of happy hours and apparently a lot of day drinking going on. But also, no, like Chef Jose Andres is doing free lunch specials, sandwich, show your ID sandwich. But the majority of people who work in federal government are not ridiculously well paid. I mean, federal government actually does not pay market rate for most of the work. And they're there because they really care about doing good things at the public level. And so I happened to see a former colleague yesterday. Her and her husband are both out of work right now. Their agencies aren't guaranteed that they're going to pay them back. And so they're heading into potentially second paycheck. They're legitimately worried about making mortgage, and they don't have a ton of savings. They've got a shit ton of student loans, and that's the reality. I think most Americans who are out of work in general.
And that's a real unit of measure, by the way.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like whatever. That's a shit ton.
Yes.
Less
2,000 pounds.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Only 40%.
That stinks.
Only 40% of Americans have $1,000 in their savings.
How many?
40%.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have 6 months. I'm like, good luck. Good luck getting to 6
I don't
months.
think many people have that. Not with my rate of pay. I mean, come on, it's impossible to have 6 months.
Wow.
So your friends, but there's a couple you actually know. So what's going on? Like, how's your life? Do they share with you what are the struggles and concerns?
Yes, it is straight up. And that's just the first of many conversations, the most recent of many similar conversations, which is, hey, how you doing? Are you furloughed? Okay, what are you doing to keep busy? Need any help? Just come over for dinner. Like, don't worry about it. And those of us who are working right now, like, I got the tab. I mean, it's the least you can do. Well, they're like, we're all like trying to take our friends who don't have jobs right now out to dinner or lunch or have them over. And it's people who are educated and could be in the private sector making double, if not triple the amount of money than they're making in government right now.
I have a question. What about postal workers?
No, I think they're actually paid, too. I have to look it up there. Yeah. Because Coast Guard's not paid. The military is paid. The Coast Guard, my understanding, is not getting paid now.
But like NIH, they're paid up, for example. Like there's certain, it's just what was left in the appropriations.
25% of the budget.
Which agencies were left.
Yeah.
So like HHS and those were already taken care of. Good for us. That CDC is still funded. So, should we have some crazy outbreak, hopefully things would be okay.
The Post Service will not shut. I could look quickly. Why were you asking? Is there a reason going on?
Yeah, because I'm thinking
he's got to send some stuff in the mail.
No, some people get paid through the mail, and if they're not getting their money, that's going to affect even more people. Like being an actor, getting residual checks, or some people who work at home.
But you have family too. You said that.
Your brother-in-laws are in TSA.
Oh yeah,
two of them?
To my brothers-in-laws, right? Are TSA.
So how is this impacting them?
They're going to work, and I don't know if they're going to say, why should we go to work? But they are going to work, trusting that, that they're going to get paid sooner or later.
Miami, the terminal, they're closing one of the terminals because of so many TSA agents calling in sick. CNN reported that today. You probably see that more. First of all, being a TSA agent's got to be challenging because you're dealing with the public, and the public's at the airport, and there's stress levels, and they're late. I can only imagine how abusive it is for them.
Yeah, and then
you're not getting paid.
And you're not getting paid on top of that. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
is this really worth it?
IRS agents. So they just said that. We've passed.
That's right.
Guess what? They've been told to process refunds, but they're not going to get paid for processing any of this stuff.
Can you imagine?
I mean, really? Really, guys?
That's the thing I understand. It's like, you go to work and you work as hard as you can, but we're not going to pay you for it. But you just diligent. But then the thing that kills me is like, so you have people who are, who are politicians who are basically government workers. I really think it should be across the board.
Like Congress not paid either.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of them are millionaires, frankly.
But let's look with the cabinet on that, right? Yeah. Do you know 8 members of the cabinet slated to go, and I think they are in Davos, Switzerland, for the World Economic Forum, which ends up being literally a gathering of billionaires and their ideas for how they're going to do social good. They come together in Switzerland at a ski resort to hang out and talk about this. And Trump's like, well, I think I should still go because it's really important and good opportunity.
He's not going. He isn't like flying long trips. That's part of it, I think. That he really said he's not going.
But I mean, really, guys, like, think of the optics of this. Like, you just haven't thought about the fact of what it's going to cost. That's considered essential travel right now. That's essential to national security for 8 cabinet members to go there, but you can't pay TSA.
But how's that surprising when he goes Mar-a-Lago? You know what I mean? So it's that. But and that's the sad thing. Was like we're not surprised.
No, we're not surprised.
We're not appalled by it because that's his actions.
And
anyway.
I'm concerned. Well, we know that he doesn't care. Right. So he has no incentive. These stories that we're sharing aren't going to motivate or affect him and his behavior. But I do think there's a significant part of the people who like him and follow him who think that government in general is wasteful. So they're the ones, I'm like, guys, we're talking about real human beings here who could be working in the private sector doing something else, but they choose to work for the public good. It's actually a bad thing that they're not getting paid right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that conservatives are convinced of that. Like, that's fine. Great. So we have 800,000 less government workers. Awesome. Dismantle the administrative state.
Aren't there
Fine.
conservatives working in the
There are people. Utah has a big government worker population because the IRS. Alaska's over 15,000 federal workers. That's why Lisa Murkowski, Republican senators, come out against this shutdown just yesterday. You're seeing some of that in red states who have a good number of federal workers, such as where there's big national parks.
Yes.
You have that going on.
Oh, so did you hear about Joshua Tree National Park?
What happened?
This is exactly why
They
we
renamed it
can't have
Trump
nice
Tree?
things. No, why we can't have nice things. I'm like,
why can't we have
apparently,
nice things?
because some idiots went in there and were like, oh, there's no national park police here, nobody there, so we're just going to cut down the Joshua trees.
No kidding.
So they could go, what is it called, ATV, four-wheeling?
Right.
So they cut down trees in a national park so they can create more space to wheel around.
There you go.
Because nobody was there to regulate. This is why we need government.
Right. So let's talk about the wall, because that's what everything is about that's causing this shutdown.
Right.
And Trump's like, rich politicians have a wall. Obama has a wall. Obama did not have a wall around his house. That was debunked pretty quickly. But he did say to Obama. You know, I try to make the point that, I mean, it's ridiculous to even say because Obama had a wall, but we are very close to Trump Tower where we are right now. There's no wall around Trump Tower.
Right.
There's security and guards. And Mar-a-Lago has no wall around it because they don't want to destroy the environment. And plus, Trump doesn't want to pay out of his own pocket for a wall, which he knows isn't effective.
Right.
It's technology. So when you peel away the other arguments, that it doesn't really reduce crime, the wall. It's not going to really have an impact on drugs coming in because they don't come in that way. Primarily, they're coming through the points of entry. It's not going to reduce too much of undocumented immigrants because 2/3 are overstays of visa anyway. What's the essence? What is really going on here?
I think it's a distraction. I really think there's something else going on. And it's kind of like the magician. You're like, you look at my hand over here. You know, oh, look at that. We're making all this noise, whatever. But I really think something else is going on. And
What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know, but I feel it's a distraction for something else because every point made is no reason to build a wall. There is no reason to build this wall.
Spend 25, 30, maybe $40 billion of our tax dollars and inefficient use of
and
That's going to end up getting litigated in court anyway because
for the rest of our natural
that's what I'm saying.
lives.
So all that, I really feel it's a distraction, and I'm just trying to figure out what is going on, and usually it has to do something with money. And so if you kind of like start investigating, okay, you know, what's going on with money or funding or something, you know, that's right. Then you're gonna be like, oh, but I really feel it's just such a big distraction to something else. Yeah, mark my words.
And what do you think? What do you think the essence of this is? Trump and his base love this wall. 80%
I think it's their vision of what America should be and look like, and we want to be able to put up barriers to who should be able to come in, and a wall just sounds like that thing.
To keep out the brownie.
Just keep out anybody we want to decide that we want to keep out.
But there was no recorded terrorism coming from the South. Not at all.
They lied. I mean, they literally got caught. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Sarah Suckabee, as I call her, was destroyed by Chris Wallace on Fox News on Sunday. Yeah. So decimated that Trump did not bring up those numbers in his stupid address because they were debunked on Fox News.
Well, he did try to bring up the whole drugs come. I'm like, no, drugs come through the ports.
Right.
Like you need to, and actually, drugs like dealers and czars have those tunnels that they use to get out of jail. They will tunnel under a wall. Right. That's not going to stop the migrants.
He also mentioned in his speech phenol, and phenol comes from China via FedEx and through mail. And I mean, literally, there's not.
I feel like there's a little too much knowledge here of where drugs come from.
Well, I've learned a lot. We're all fact checkers now because of Trump. Now, here's the thing. Here's
that's really from the mail in China, Dean.
That's from the mail.
Where are my drugs coming from? I need to research
do you get calls in Mandarin on your phone? Like
yes, all the time.
I do. You told me
serious?
Wally told me about the AT&T, or no, it was the app to get rid of these calls.
Oh yeah.
I get daily calls in Mandarin. I think I'm getting pretty good at Mandarin now. It's like the same thing all the time. And it's like a 15-second message. Asif Manvi, my buddy's getting them, and others too.
Right.
And we're like, yeah, like I'm getting them too. You're getting them too. We don't know why our number is on some. I think it's a dark web thing just to annoy us. I think it's probably that.
Yes.
But I want to play a joke. This is Wanda Sykes from years ago. During the Obama administration, she's talking about white people freaking out by demographic change. And we are much closer to that than we were 8 or 9 years ago. I think it's relevant. It's a 30-second joke. Here's clip number 5, Lauren.
I think white men, they get upset, they get nervous, like a minority or another race gets a little power. It makes them nervous because they scared that race is going to do to them what they did to that race. They get nervous. So they start screaming, reverse racism. This is reverse racism. I'm like, wait a minute, in reverse racism, isn't that when a racist is nice to somebody else? Isn't that to other people? That's reverse racism. Like, what you're afraid of is called karma.
So how much do you think, and here is a less funny version of that joke. Here is Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, I like very much. She's been on the show. And yesterday on Chris Hayes' show, here's clip number 7.
His ultimate goal is, as you said, to make America pure in the sense of not having immigrants, not having folks of color here, and shutting down every form of legal immigration, all to throw a bone to those people.
To those people.
That
was her base.
Remember, there's a quote in the New York Times earlier this week, this woman who is furloughed from the federal government, was a Trump voter, really disappointed because he's hurting the wrong people.
Who should he be hurting?
Right. She's like, he's hurting the wrong people.
I thought you were going to ban Muslims. What are you doing this for?
Tell us more about who he should be hurting.
And here's the thing. You have Congressman Stephen King from, not related to the author.
I was going to say the writer.
The Republican Stephen King, congressman very close to Trump, talking about border security forever. Yesterday said, white nationalists, white supremacists, Western civilization, how did that language become offensive? And he said, talking about the Democratic Party, you can look over there and think the Democratic Party is no country for white men. So there's a guy literally defending white supremacists and saying, why is that a bad word? I was taught this in school. It's a good thing. And white supremacist, by the dictionary definition, so there's no dispute, a person who believes that the white race is inherently superior to other races and that the white people should have control over people of other races.
And if
a congressman,
and if you were to call him racist, he would be offended.
He was today. He goes, I'm not a racist. You are a racist piece of garbage. We went through all his quotes yesterday.
Because apparently the only way you are racist now in America, according to people like Stephen King, is if you try to literally physically assault a black person or do something back from Jim.
No,
anything else is not racism, according to them.
If you physically assault a black person, that means you're the police.
Nice, Wally. Don't do the bum. So here's the thing.
I'll just do puns.
You could do
wall-to-wall coverage.
That's better. So what do you think, though? I mean, here's Steve King, a Republican sitting congressman, still there. He got some of that kind of criticism, like, that was horrible. They won't do anything to him at all. The GOP's courting of white supremacy and white nationalism under Donald Trump has gone from subtle to right in your face. And the questions are, why is white supremacy bad? In Princeton, New Jersey, tomorrow, there'll be a rally by white supremacists from this group, White Europa, who put up signs like, what's wrong with being white? That's their way. And they recruit college students. Yeah. They're making inroads into white college students. Yeah. It's a scary thing. This is building in this country. And as opposed to the threat, like Muslims are going to pose Islamic law, which as much as we want to, we can't. That's a phantom menace. The demographic change is not a phantom menace. It's real. It's going to happen. And they're going to freak more. And I'm really fearful where we're going as a country.
You know what? I'll tell you something, if I may.
Please.
As much as these white folks are trying their best to stay relevant, I guess, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Brown people and browner people are just making more of them. And it's just, we're just here, and we're getting educated, and we're learning the ways of the world, and
the ways of politics,
the ways of
getting involved,
ways of the world, and we're coming, and it's like it's happening, and they're trying their best. I don't know if you've ever seen the cartoon where there's a frog squeezing a stork's neck as the stork is swallowing the frog.
No, I haven't.
There's this great photo.
Nightmare-inducing.
It's a cartoon where it's saying never give up, and there's a stork swallowing a frog, but the frog is still choking the stork. And so it's like, that's what I think is happening. It's like the white folks, or these white men, are the frog, and we are the stork. Like, we were swallowing you up. Because, it's another thing too, is that people don't want to admit, like, terrorism, true terrorists are white males. There hasn't been a Chinese.
You're talking about all the gun violence that we've seen in schools.
Yes.
The militia movements.
Yes.
Right. These dudes who took guns and took over federal land.
Yes.
Could any person of color ever have done that?
No.
And had not only just the police stand back, but also the entire community be like, well, it is, federal land and they like to hunt there.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. And so, like, even the fact that a man can go into a church, shoot up a church, shoot at people in the church, and then take them to Burger King. It's like
Dylan Roof, right?
Yeah. So I don't say his name because that gives him validation. So that's
Do you remember the name of the church?
The it was the famous Emmanuel Baptist Church, I think.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the church.
That's when Obama sang.
But here's the thing.
Amazing Grace.
He did.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear Trump sing.
But look
anything.
Donald Trump literally yesterday was telling stories, and Sean Hannity did the same thing on his show the night before, of people killed by undocumented immigrants in this country. And Sean Hannity went back like 10 years, some of them, because I fact-checked the 25 he had on screen. Meanwhile, a 13-year-old girl, Jamie Kloss, is found by their neighbors. She was missing for almost 90 days. Someone went to her house, killed her parents, abducted her. She's 13 years old. The guy who did it is caught now, 21-year-old Jake Patterson, white guy, native-born American. So neither Trump nor Fox News will talk about this. If he had been an undocumented immigrant, it would be headline after headline, and Trump would be using this. And here is the threat right here. Another white young man who's angry. And we talk about it. We're divisive and racist for bringing up his race, his skin
and we
color.
need to understand his economic anxiety or his identity of his anxiety and whatever the identity anxiety that he has. It's the same thing with the opioid crisis versus the crack crisis.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
The opioid crisis, they're victims. We need to help them. It's a healthcare crisis.
But crack?
Whereas crack, it's like
criminals.
Your fault, your mistake. This is a criminal justice issue.
Yes. And we're not allowed to get angry. We are not allowed.
No, you as a black man are especially not allowed to get angry.
Black man is not allowed to get angry.
Are you never what happens if you had a situation where you got angry and someone tried to use it against you? Like, look at it, or do you just self-center? Because you're very calm. You're a very zen type of guy. Is that by choice because of the society we live in, or is that because just who you are?
I think who I am. I think I was raised that way too. Because my parents were first in a lot of things. I grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts, and my father was the first black man to drive a Coke truck in New England. And my mother was the first black woman to graduate nursing school in Springfield, Massachusetts. Wow. So my parents were like a lot of first, and they got it, and they told us either subliminally or we watched by example, is that those of authority, you have to approach them in a certain way, and how you speak is the first thing. Using full sentences and talking to someone with respect. That's first, and people look at you and speak with you and relate to you differently, and so that just followed me. I just knew that from just growing up, and living. And
you mentioned your mom was the first African American woman to graduate from nursing school in that area. Just in November, the first African American woman to ever be elected from Massachusetts or the whole New England area to Congress just happened. And you think about, like, how is that? It's a blue state and all this time. And people don't get it. Racism is not a red state thing. It's not a blue state thing.
It's an American thing.
Right. It's African-American Virginia. There's been never an African-American woman from Virginia elected to Congress, a state that has a very vibrant African-American community.
And the Northeast likes to think of itself as, because it's liberal, that they don't have racial issues. And that's what I loved about the movie Get Out, was the calling out of liberal racism.
Oh, yeah.
It exists. Absolutely.
And people don't know. Boston, ooh, boy. Yeah, Boston's tricky.
Working on behalf of Russia. So that's a must-read, folks. We're going to find out more about that. And I probably just got bumped from being on MS tomorrow morning. I was supposed to be on. It's probably going to make all the stories instead. We'll take a break, come right back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. Progressive values are the best of American values, and we need to keep fighting for them to save our country.
Don't go anywhere. This is the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.
entire week's exhausted news broken down into one hilarious hour. What Just Happened is now live with Dean Obeidallah.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We're here. What just happened? And apparently a lot of crazy stuff happening because it's breaking news on CNN and MSNBC, but Fox News is not. They're talking about how immigrants are scary. Here with Nayyera, Wali Collins, very funny comedian. You can see him Sunday, January 20th in the Big Brown Comedy Show.
Oh, and the 22nd, too, the Comedy Cup. I got to talk about that.
Well, January 20th, first of all, is the show that I put together that you're a part of at the comic strip, 8 o'clock, all brown comics. Mason Zayed's in it and Rama Youssef and a lot of people. And you have some other show, the 22nd?
Yeah, the 22nd called the Comedy Cup, hosted by me, Wali Collins. I got to promote it. It's going to be at Gotham Comedy Club. It's a lot of fun. It's a second-year anniversary. Second year anniversary. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like a competition. I'm the judge and the host, and we have a guest scorekeeper, Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
I gotta give you a 3. I'm gonna give you what? We have the same agent. My agent does his impression all the time. He's like,
love that dude.
He's like, Gilbert calls me, get me less money, Jeff. That's too much money. So here's the breaking news from New York Times. I just read it while speaking to you because this is what I do. It said, because when you host radio, you actually have conversations while looking at chyrons and then reading articles.
Yes.
This is stunning. The FBI, while Trump was president, this is remarkable stuff. So I'm bumped from Joy. I was supposed to be on Joy Reid's show first segment tomorrow. I'll be bumped because this will be the story. The days after Trump fired James Comey, law enforcement officials became so concerned by his behavior, they began investigating whether he had been working on behalf of Russia against American interests, according to former law enforcement. Now, we don't know more about this, but all of a sudden, Rod Rosenstein's joke about maybe someone should wear a wire. And Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, about a couple of months ago, there was a story that he had said, jokingly, maybe someone should wear a wire after James Comey was fired. Well, if it's part and parcel of this, there was no joke. There was literally, folks, the FBI of the United States apparently so concerned, they began investigating, I'm just reading reporting, the president of the United States, forget who that is, the president of the United States was working with the Russians as an asset of theirs. This is off-the-chart stuff. I should be bumped from Joy Reid.
But I also don't think he realized it.
Trump?
No, I think he was an unwitting asset because he was like, oh, yes, I'd love your money. Sure, I'll come to this party. Yes, great. You gave me money. I'll take your phone calls. We don't need reporters, American reporters in the Oval Office. Bring in your Kremlin reporter. Yes, I'll take a direct phone call and you can tell me whatever you want about Syria. Like, this is, I think to him, it's just his weird form of loyalty and feeling beholden to the people who helped maintain his business empire and kept it afloat. And it's the Russian playbook. You just pay to play.
Look, we're going to let this play out. I'm sure Joe fake news.
I think for him to
we're going to shut the government I'm going to shut the FBI. I'm going to do an executive emergency.
Right.
I'm declaring an emergency to shut the FBI down.
Like, hey, look at this over here.
Look, I've been in the Middle East where I was in Jordan where the king dissolved parliament. I mean, like, if Trump could do that, he would be doing that now and just ending the FBI and just putting his own people in charge of. And his own people are in charge, but they're still underneath are more loyal to the nation than they are to Donald Trump.
Civil servants. That's what they do. They're not there for whoever's in power. They're there for the American public.
Wow. And I find it amazing that you were in Jordan.
Many times for comedy.
Yeah, I wore Jordans, so that makes it really connected.
I've done comedy in Saudi Arabia.
Did you now?
With Gabriel Iglesias. We did shows there, me and Gabe, and with my friend Aaron Cater. I don't know if you know Aaron. He's a funny guy from L.A. But no, I've done shows in Saudi. I opened for Beheading. Folks, I'll be here all week. And I did shows. I did 4 shows over 2 trips. And I've been across the entire Middle East, Lebanon, all over. But it's been fun. I mean, I don't go there anymore because I have a radio show. But the time was used. All right, let's talk about apologies.
Okay.
And
by the way, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry too.
Okay.
Nayyera, are you sorry?
I'm very sorry.
No. We are all minorities.
Yeah, okay.
To different levels. Yes. I'm the whitest clearly here. I'm the one who can get a cab.
My husband likes but my husband does like to say I'm lighter than I think I am.
You?
Yeah.
You're not light though. You're brown.
But I like the emoji that I picked for like clapping hands. He's like, 1 over. You're lighter than that.
That's hilarious. You're lighter than that?
Pakistani, so right? You're Pakistani, Indian.
Your husband's pretty dark though, right?
You're coloring.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. People on the radio can see my coloring right now, I guess.
I guess that's it.
If we had some kind of
hey Hershey Bob.
Yeah, she called me Hershey.
If we had a Benjamin Moore paint thing, I could tell everyone, go to your thing, look up number 26 and 34, and you see what's in the studio that I'm with.
Well, I'm Hershey Brown.
According to my makeup, I am medium tan.
Really?
Medium tan.
When I'm dark in the summer, when I get tan, because I can really tan. I'm half Arab, half Italian, half Sicilian. When I go to makeup, it changes everything. Like, it really is fundamentally different. And in the winter, I look more like a white guy. So here, but the point is, there are bigots who have attacked racists who have gone after African Americans. I don't mean physically. I mean in saying racist shit.
Sure.
And against Muslims, bigoted stuff. Ultimately, and maybe I'm naive, some of them I want to evolve. Some of them will never reach. Some of them I want to evolve. So you had 2 different apologies in the last 2 weeks. Sort of apology. You had Kevin Hart, apology, non-apology. You might know Kevin personally. I don't know if you know Kevin.
Okay, so I kind of love him.
And, all right, but then the
no,
weird
like
thing,
seriously, like I've watched every episode of Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Have you? Does he do, all right, so
it's such a great show.
He said, "You do that."
I don't even. So Kevin, but the weird thing for me, Kevin,
he's black famous.
He sort of apologized, and he kind of apologized, but then when he said on SiriusXM, because he has his own channel here, he came on. Are you guys okay? You're laughing instead. What's going on? What am I missing? I feel so white. What are you two doing?
I had surgery yesterday.
You had surgery?
Yes.
You seem great.
Yeah, well,
but it's hernia surgery, and I'm making him laugh. So it's like extra layers of pain.
And so the thing is that I can't laugh, but I'm laughing because I know I can't laugh, and she's looking at me to laugh, so I can't.
Don't kill Wally. He's one of our best guests here. So
she killed it.
You can't kill
Wally.
It
tonight.
No, kill Wally.
Okay, so
that's the campaign.
The
so
weird thing about Kevin Hart, though, is when he came on SiriusXM, his own show, talking about Don Lemon, and Don Lemon goes on CNN, and he's like, "You can fix this, become an LGBT ally," and Kevin said, "It's not my dream." So it's not your dream to become an LGBT ally. I'm like, who says that garbage? Like, why would you say so? Any kind of attempt to me at a sincere evolution was destroyed by that line, because you didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
To me. But what do you want from someone to show their sincerity? Or let me ask you first, step back. Do you want people to evolve? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think just fucking marginalize them and move on?
No, I think it's important to evolve. I mean, we all do. And we all change and we all evolve. We have to, because that's part of life, and that's just where you get through the world. Right. How fast you evolve, that's the question, you know. Yeah, we all evolve, and there's no way getting around it. Just wondering, some of us are impatient about it, you know, like hurry up, evolve, but people come around.
I would not have certain members in my family were it not for evolution of ideas and emotions. Right. And that's something I think that's echoed by many of my LGBT friends too, right? Like that's just the reality of being in an intersectional society. But there is also the art of the public apology that I think Kevin wasn't prepared for, right? Like,
now are we talking about now what he said about the gays and
right, his tweets, but it's not even the way he responded. Like, he had an easy layup on Ellen's show, and I'm not trying to go through that. I want to compare it to another apology directed to the Muslim community. And all three of us are Muslim, but no, please finish your thought. What do you think about Kevin?
Thank you. Well, it's just that there is an art to public apology, and unfortunately Americans love they love a good flogging, but they also love a good redemption story. And it's almost like you got to get through that emotional cathartic cycle. So yes, you do have to go on different TV shows and give sincere apologies. You may feel like you're done, but in my PR brain, the art of messaging is when you are sick of saying it, that's when it's finally resonating with somebody. He has objected to publicly having to continue to apologize. And to me, that is that's just the challenge of being a public figure. And you got to own the space you're in and understand how this works. Nobody heard your first apology. Everybody needs to hear it, and then you can move on. But he's like, I've moved on.
Right, I did it, yeah.
I've moved on. I'm done. It's not my dream. I want to move on with my life. I got a movie to promote. And it's like, I hear you, brother, but we're not there yet. And that's just the reality of how this shit works.
I hear what you're saying.
And every time you're apologizing, it's new people have heard that. And they go, oh, wow, he's pretty sincere about this. And so you start giving them the benefit of the doubt.
But then I also get the idea of being a successful minority, being like, really, guys, are you still going to try to tear me down? Like, how much do I have to do this? I'm like, you have to do it until people believe it.
Yeah.
You have to do it until it comes across as sincere.
All right, so let's compare it to, and it's not the same, it was one tweet, but it's relevant here about the apology. The co-writer of the Green Book. I don't know if you saw the movie Green Book.
I heard it.
It's a good movie, very good movie. Yeah. And it's based on a true story about the Green Book, the Negro's Guide to Traveling the South, essentially. And it was a guide. So the Green Book's a feel-good movie about...
Is that really the title?
It's called Green Book, but the full title is the Negro Motorist Guide, and they show it in the movie. And Nick Vallelonga, who is from Paramus, my town, he's Italian like I'm Italian. His dad was a well-known actor in in New Jersey. He was on Sopranos and stuff. Well, he had tweeted one tweet, nothing else, but about Muslims. In 2015, when Trump was saying Muslims cheered on 9/11 in New Jersey, he tweeted, Trump 100% correct. Muslims Jersey City cheering when towers went down. I saw it as you did, possibly on local CBS News. That's all he tweeted. Now, because this movie won a Golden Globe and is on the verge of being nominated for an Oscar, people are going back through his tweets. So he said, because the movie's about finding common ground, Green Book, and his father did find common ground with an African American. And clearly he did in real life to a certain extent. There's questions of how truthful the whole movie was. But in any event, here I'll read his statement yesterday. I want to apologize. I spent my life trying to bring this story of overcoming differences and finding common ground to the screen. And I'm incredibly sorry to everyone associated with Green Book. I especially deeply apologize to the incredibly brilliant and kind Mashallah Ali, who's the star, who is Muslim. I know, Mashallah. And all the members of the Muslim faith for the hurt I've caused. I'm also sorry to my late father, who changed so much from Dr. Shirley, and that was the black man who was in the movie, Dr. Shirley's friendship, and I promise this lesson is not lost on me. Green Book's a story about love and acceptance and overcoming barriers. I will do better. Sounds like a good apology. I mean, for a good first step, what do you think?
Yeah.
I like the I'll do better.
I do too. I was going to say that. Last sentence was,
I'll do better.
I just think.
Be best.
Yeah. I really think, people think, I don't know, people just don't give people a chance. People make mistakes. People have these beliefs, understandings about everyone. And you're going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. My grandfather, I love my grandfather. God bless him. My grandfather loved everybody. It loved everyone, but he hated Puerto Ricans. So it's like, what do you mean? Until I had a good friend named Angel who hung around. And Angel was like very, very, he was very handy. He had sense of humor and all that. And my grandfather really dug Angel. And I'm like, well, Angel is Puerto Rican. He goes, he is? I'm like, yeah. And that got the wheels running. He goes, well, maybe. So, and this is like my grandfather, like in the 60s, 70s, you know what I mean? When he was like, around that age. And he was, so to speak, firm in his beliefs about how he feels about people. You know what I mean? So people do evolve. We all evolve. And so you can't, put people in this box, whatever, what you believe.
But I still struggle, though, with minorities who will, on one hand, complain about the discrimination against them and then say some things like, I'm not homophobic, but...
Oh, yeah.
So hang on. We got to go to a break. We have to squeeze another quick break. We'll come right back with more of the Dean Obadala Show.
Dean Obadala Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.
You're listening to What Just Happened with everyone's favorite host, Dean Obeidallah.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. Last minute of this show, what just happened? We had two great guests, Nayyera Hawk and Wali Collins.
Thank you.
Wali, where can people follow you? I know you mentioned the show before.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Wali Collins, WaliCollins. I appreciate the music in the background.
That's the last minute music.
Okay. That's Facebook, the Holy Trinity, the three. And you got to come to the Comedy Cup hosted by me, Wali Collins. Is on January 22nd at Gotham Comedy Club. Our guest scorekeeper is going to be Gilbert Godfrey. It's a great show. It's a competition show with 4 comedians, and the scoring is just as crazy as the comics. It's a lot of fun.
So a lot of fun. And January 20th, catch him at the Comedy Show. 30 seconds. Nayyera, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Nayyera, Nayyeror.
Nayyera, it's great to see you in studio. Usually it's always by phone. She's here in New York. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Lauren and Matt. Great week. You two really stepped it up this week. You two.
Yeah, so
and you're fired. No, I'm kidding.
And you're fired.
See you guys later. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be back Monday.